What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing today? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Yo, yo. I want my cookies back, right? Hear you. Of course, Andrew, we can't hear you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is the first ever little podcast that we're starting, a little web show. Obviously, this guy needs no introduction. I'm going to bring on the one and only Mr. Jin.
Woo!
What's up, Andrew? How
Go
are you doing
Duke!
today? Oh, my God. Go Duke.
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. So, guys, this is going to be a little friendly banter, a little hangout with friends. This is Jen and I's first attempt at a web series, little webcast. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. We're going to call it Stolen Cookies. Stealing cookies in the NBA or in basketball in general is when you get a steal. So we call it cookies. Get those cookies. So it's a little play on words. We'll get rolling with it. Now, for the first time ever, you guys are going to meet a guy that has been behind the scenes, Mr. Dude Luck.
You've heard his voice. You've heard his voice.
And now you get to see his beautiful face. So without further ado, Mr. Dude Luck, there he is.
Woo! What's good, everybody? We're gonna do a little bit of drinking tonight. We're gonna do a little bit of shit talking.
This is gonna be the first historic face reveal for Dude Luck.
Buddy. What's good?
Shout out to the ballers and the Cards. Hey, baby, go Cardinals, right? Not much, man. We're just chilling. We were supposed to have one more guest, but the guest does not know how to work technology.
He's not very good at it.
Isn't he part of like your technological team over there?
No, he's one of our janitors.
This guy. I'm gonna let one of you guys talk to him and check because he's being a little knucklehead. But so what this little show is going to be doing for us today and what we're going to be talking about is we're going to go down and in-depth conversations about multiple things when it comes to basketball, since it's our favorite sport. We're going to be focusing on the NCAA tournament, some thoughts there, talking a little bit about the NBA structure and kind of what's going on right now. And then we're going to talk a little bit about comparing, upcoming players, who's someone to really look out for and potentially collect, and just overall investment opportunities in the card world. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Chat, what is up? Who smashed some St. Peter's bets? Hey, man.
Can we talk about cricket? Oh, no.
Expo, come on.
Oh, no.
You guys have a podcast? Hey, Hundo, this is the first one, man. This is the first one. So, Drew, you mentioned Duke versus North Carolina when you first got in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not really a big college basketball guy. So what makes you pick Duke? Huh?
I don't know. I guess historically, most people Duke is well known, right? But I mean, UNC is also pretty well known too. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game for either team. So, but I just want to cheer for Duke because I know you guys don't like Duke at all. So, right?
Nobody likes Duke. People in Raleigh-Durham don't like Duke. This is going to be interesting though too. I think it'll be the first time that UNC and Carolina have played in the NCAA tournament. They get to the Final Four.
257 meetings. Not once have they played in the NCAA tournament.
So I'll give you a stat for you though too. Out of the draft board for this upcoming mock draft for this year, the highest rated player is still left in the tournament. That's Paolo Banchero. He's the big 6'11" guy for Duke though. So those of you collecting cards and getting ready to do the collegiate sets in next year's rookie class, that is one of the guys to absolutely collect. He is a monster.
Do you think he's going to be the number one overall pick? He's top 3, isn't he?
No. Well, it depends on where the lottery balls fall, right? The best player in the draft overall, I think skill-wise, is Jaden Ivey. He's the kid from Purdue. Incredible player, best player in the country. I think you have to take him consensus number 1, but Banchero is a pretty damn good number 2 pick.
Oh, yeah. Where do you think our boy Ben Makron falls down,
mean, I think probably 4 or 5, right? Depends on what team it is, but yeah, probably say 4 or 5. He's 6'6", 215 pounds, athletic, crazy jumper. He's like Anthony Edwards, but better.
Yeah. Yeah, they got Bonchero, by the way, going second to Detroit if the lottery balls fall as follows. Orlando, number 1, 2 Detroit, 3 Houston, 4 Oklahoma City, 5 Indiana, and they actually have Benedict Mathurin going number 5 to Indiana.
You see what Raphael put? He put I'm from Montreal, and I'm going to PC Ben Mathurin. That's pretty cool.
Hey, I'm about to do the same thing. I'm about to spend so much. We got a new hit of the box, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be good old Ben. Good old Ben. Andrew, anybody that you potentially are going to be collecting next year out of this draft class that you know yet, or you still need to do a little bit of research there?
I probably still need to do some research, but I think Dude Luck's mentioned Chet before, so.
You know,
ooh, he's an interesting piece.
Chet's interesting, right? Because they're comparing him to Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know if that's an insult or if that's good for him. Shout out to Kristaps out there. I don't know. He's unlike anybody we've ever seen before. He truly is a unicorn. He's got better handles than Kristaps. He's more mobile. He's got a better 3.
He's so tiny though. He's like what, 7'3", and he weighs 190 pounds, I believe.
Well, but that was the big knock on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant couldn't bench press 150 pounds at the combine.
But Kevin Durant was also dropping 25 in the NCAA tournament and in college, and this guy's barely.
Yeah, but that's because he had a better Chet had a better team, right? When KD played for Texas, it was him and Royal Ivy. That was the big name back there. So.
Someone said, Nate Hill said, Chet is Pkwy. Ooh. I could see some comparison, but
I mean, as far as them both being tall, white, and lanky, sure.
And collected by Jin.
I mean, there are some comparisons, though, too, but I think he's kind of a mix, though, because defensively, I think he will lead the league in blocks. If he gets enough playing time, he will lead the league in blocks.
That's fair. That's fair. Real quick, I do want to bring this up though, because we talked about North Carolina and Duke, and there's still one really good team left. They're also the Wildcats, and that's Villanova. I think Villanova has a shot at winning it all this year.
I mean, they're the best. Listen, I'm going to say something radical right now, and everybody, every Duke fan in the world is going to absolutely disagree with me. The best coach in basketball, period, any level, is Jay Wright.
I agree. Jay Wright is arguably the. Do you think so? At the end of his career, do you think he's going to have a career like Coach K?
I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, Villanova doesn't have the same funding as Duke does, right? But I think look at Jalen Brunson, look at Mikal Bridges, look at even Colin Gillespie. These are guys, though, that Jalen Brunson stayed in school for 4 years. He's about to get a max contract this upcoming season. The Mavericks won't pay him. Mikal Bridges, we basically gave him a max contract. Those are 3 to 4 year players that stay in that program that do an excellent job. So all kudos goes to him.
Facts. Real quick, we got a question here from Pro. Anthony Edwards, Prism Fast Break, Blue Disco out of 175. Should I sell, trade, or hold? It's at PSA right now. It all depends on what the PSA grade is. I personally think Anthony Edwards, if you're looking for long-term investment, sometimes you got to get in early on a player. And obviously right now, Anthony Edwards is one of those players that you probably do want to collect and hold on to if that's the player of your fixing, right? I personally sell all my Anthony Edwards and hold LaMelo, but it really comes down to you as the collector. But I definitely think if you can hold him and you want to hold him is going to be the best possible path for that one.
Yeah, definitely wait for the grade and see. I'd lean towards more holding it if it's a 10.
Yeah. Should I sell my Jalen Hurts RPA at a 12 Eagles patch, buddy?
Yeah, hit up Juice. He'll definitely buy it for any price.
I don't know about all that, but if you're looking to sell Jalen Hurts, you might want to wait till the football season actually starts.
Yeah, before like a month or two before.
Yeah, preseason, something like that. All right, so we're starting to talk a little bit about the draft and some of those top draftees. You know, you mentioned a few, Chet, Benedict, but there's Jaden Ivey, who arguably could be the best possible prospect coming out of this draft. He's projected to go number 1 overall. I think before this past season, he wasn't really shooting the ball too well, but now all of a sudden he's developed a nice little 3-point shot. He gets clutch there at the end. Do you think there's a runaway candidate to be the best player in the draft, or do you think there's 5 or 6 guys that are really able to be that long-term prospect?
Jaden Ivey is Derrick Rose with a 3-point shot. That's what he is. That's what he is.
You heard it here first.
He has all the athleticism. He's got all those God-given abilities, and he can shoot the 3 pretty well. I mean, he kept Purdue going the entire year. There's also another kid too at Iowa, sophomore, kid named Keegan Murray. He just announced today that he was going to the draft. He's a stud point guard. Even the kid AJ Griffin from Duke, right? I think they're small forward. He's also another stud as well. The kid from Kansas, Obaji. He's an absolute monster as well. The draft, I don't think will have a consensus number 1, but I think it'll definitely have a few really good players, which I think Ben Mathurin will be one of them.
Yeah, and I think I think you hit the nail on the head. I think this draft's going to have multiple players. You got Smith, Jabari Smith, no one's talking about. Ivy, Holmgren, Benedict Mathurin. You know, there's an AJ Griffins of the world. There's Washington. There's just a handful of individuals that are in this draft that are lottery picks that I think this is going to be one of the nicest lottery pick drafts that we've had in a while.
Let me give you a name that's going to confuse the shit out of everybody. Okay. This kid is 18 years old. He's projected to be top 20, and his name resembles a current MVP in the NBA right now. This kid's name is Nikola Jovic. Not Jokic, Jovic. And
from Serbia.
He's 6'11". Very, very similar game as far as that, but he's much thinner. Really, really strong player.
Yeah, he's from Serbia. He's one of those individuals that could probably come in and play right away, really help a team out. He's a small forward, power forward. I think he's definitely one of those stretch fours, right? If he plays that power forward.
They have him listed as a small forward. I mean, you have a 6'11" small forward. Kevin Durant, but again, he's one of those small guys, so he's not going to be powerful. He's 205 pounds. I haven't been 205 pounds since like 8th grade. 205 pounds. Maybe 5th grade.
Real quick, Heavy Hitters wants to know, should he sell his 2001 Ford Focus? Any buyers out there?
Now's the time. I mean, the used car market, right?
You'll never get more for it. You will never get more for it.
This is correct, 100%. Hike says, join a break, maybe a little bit later. What would you guys recommend is the best way to start in the card game? Drew, what are your thoughts on that?
I would personally, if you want to like see a product get broken and see what cards in there, definitely finding a breaker might be a inexpensive option to kind of get your feet wet. But other than that, I mean, just going to your local card shop and looking for product to rip, pretty much, or watching people who rip product to get an idea if that's the kind of product you want to spend your money on. Because there's a lot of people out there who open like all of the newest products that come out, so it'll give you a good idea of what's in the product and if it's something you want to spend like that $500 on.
Yeah, I'll be.
Jacob's question.
Do you guys think Joel Embiid cards will go up?
That'll be a segment for later.
I'll definitely get to that. Just to close out that previous conversation about getting into the hobby and getting into card collecting or card breaking. First and foremost, I 100% highly recommend that you do not break yourself right away. It is very expensive. You're not going to pull any of the cards that you truly want to pull. It's 100% a gamble. Now, if you have the means to do it, by all means, do whatever you want to do. But if you really want to get in there and understand, I think a breaker, getting into a couple of breaks is a good way to go, or just buying players you enjoy. Collect a few cards for a few months, build up your collection, and then decide what's the next step for you. Do not jump into just ripping wax right away. I just want to make that a little clear for everybody. Let's get to that Joel Embiid question. Do we think Joel Embiid cards are going to go up? Now, that's a conversation that we kind of been having across the board, and I'll add a couple players in there as well. Joel Embiid's part of this newer class of players. He's doing really good, still really young. He's finally healthy the past 2 seasons, playing at an MVP type level, but you don't see his cards go up tremendously. There's also veterans like a Chris Paul of the world, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, individuals that have been proven or that are really good, that have the stats, the accolades so far, especially the Kawhi Leonards of the world, but no one is collecting their cards. No one sees them really that valuable unless you have the higher end cards. Now, if we're talking Luka's of the world, for some reason, every single card of Luka's is a holy grail, it feels like. And that's a unique dynamic that's currently in the hobby today. And it's a tough one to explain because in reality, I think most of us here, if I told you, hey, there's an individual that's going to be probably the all-time or in the top 3 in all-time assists, steals, point guard overall, just one of the best in Chris Paul, and no one's collecting his cards. His cards, any card that you get from any modern set, it goes over, it's overlooked dramatically. So it's very interesting. And I mean, Dude Luck, what do you think about just collecting cards in general in today's world? If some of these players like a Joel Embiid, a Chris Pauls of the world, why their cards haven't really gone up at all?
You know, I think the hobby has exploded the last 2-3 years. And when those guys were rookies, I'll use Chris as an example. He came in, right, in 03. The card game was almost non-existent, right? So the national treasures and the flawlesses weren't out, right? And I think it kind of made the cards less desirable, though, because the quality of those, right? So, I think, for what it's worth, I think Chris will go down as the greatest point guard of all time. I think you guys, Joel Embiid, maybe the most dominant player in the NBA, barring injuries. He can do some damage. He's like Shaq, but with footwork.
Yeah.
So in an outside game, of course. So, but I think there's select players though that are kind of I'll take Chris out of the equation, right? Because he was, well beyond the 2010 era. Devin Booker, arguably the league's MVP. His cards, no one's really collecting Devin right now. You could still get national treasure stuff from him. You could still get some of those items. I think someone mentioned Karl Anthony Towns. Cat's another one. That kid's a beast. If he can keep his head straight, because he's an emotional wreck sometimes, he can absolutely be one of those players too. And then I'll toss you another one. Nikola Jokic.
Prime example. His stuff's starting to go up a little bit now. I will say that, especially as some of his RPAs from his rookie year, obviously those cards are going up. I recently just sold an auto out of 15 from a Obsidian for like $200. His stuff is starting to go up a little bit because people are starting to finally understand everything. What's so funny?
Look at Seth's comment.
I know.
More horny than normal.
I had to approve that one. I just had to let it come through.
Jeez Louise.
Good old Seth.
Jeez Louise.
You have no idea. He's bricked up.
He's bricked up.
Not as bad as a Rush.
But you think about it though too. So it doesn't matter what metric you use to measure players, right? John Hollinger used to have the player efficiency rating, right? Jokic has led that the last 3 years, right? Doesn't mean he's the best player in the NBA, but efficiency-wise, I would say Giannis is a better player than him. You could argue KD, but he's top 3 in my book.
Yeah. He's up there for a lot of individuals, and one of the individuals that would happily debate you, unfortunately, doesn't know how to work a computer, so he probably won't be joining us tonight, but definitely the next time we'll do it.
So,
our guy Arash.
There's a comment there. So Tall Booth put, saying Chris Paul will be the GOAT point guard when Magic Johnson exists as an L. I've liked a lot of your comments. So here's the funny part. Chris Paul, had he played on the Showtime Lakers, which included 4 to 5 to 6 Hall of Fame players, and maybe the greatest player of all time in Kareem and James Worthy, and had he played with a team like that, he would have won 7 or 8 championships.
Yeah.
So the context, though, that Magic was an excellent player. Magic wasn't even better than Larry Bird. Look at the numbers compared to both of those guys. You put Chris Paul on a team that didn't have Tyson Chandler. You put him on a team that didn't have an aging Peja Stojakovic, a young J.R. Smith. There's no chance in hell, right?
A Blake Griffin that literally gets hurt every 2 seconds, a DeAndre Jordan who couldn't make a jump shot or a free throw. I mean, you put Chris Paul's finally on a team that has weapons all around him, and look what they're doing. He's at his age, he's still helping lead the Phoenix Suns to an amazing record, which, by the way, is the greatest team in the NBA. But I'm just saying.
Well,
yeah.
but put it this way, though, right? I mean, even the team that we have right now is we all love our Phoenix Suns. You put that team against the Showtime Lakers, they get swept in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, but so that's kind of the concept, right? You kind of look at it is you got to compare teams and how they're built, and having another top 5 NBA player in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar next to you. I mean, listen, man, it's a wrap.
You can't compare Chris Paul clutch in playoffs and Magic Johnson as being clutch in the playoffs when, again, Magic Johnson had multiple Hall of Famers almost every single year he played in the Lakers uniform. So when you're actually comparing the individual, it's going to be tough to compare them, obviously, with the drastic difference, but at the same time too, you can't take away what Magic Johnson had around him. Magic averaged more points, rebounds, and assists. Again, you can't double team Magic Johnson on the Lakers because someone else would destroy you. You're going to get a lot of assists because you have Hall of Famers all around you. You also have the individual that is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA that had an unblockable shot. Plus, you have multiple individuals rebounding at the same time. You're comparing like elite teams, super teams. The Showtime Lakers were by far a super team compared to what Chris Paul has played for. I don't think it's even close. Am I going to see you back in Phoenix out there for Tyler? Were you the guy that was in the middle of the road? I think Tyler was the guy that was in the middle of the road.
Oh, was he the one that you told me that story, right?
Yeah, where we yelled because we saw a Devin Booker jersey and the dude turned around. He's like, "Cheers from Lootbox." I was like, "What the fuck?"
That was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic.
It's kind of weird though when we were at the casino and the guy heard my voice and came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I listened to you at night." I'm like, "Hey, this is a little weird."
Yep, Tyler said that was him.
That's awesome, dude. Tyler, you're the man. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, bro. I'm gonna have to hit you up next time we're there, man. That was just good.
Did you see the question by Ace Gamer?
Let's see what Ace say.
He says, "I'm 13 and I love opening cards. I have 2 autos. I believe he said they were earlier that they were baseball cards, and he wants to know how to grow his collection as a teen." And love from Florida.
Well, appreciate the support, buddy, and I hope you're correct. Your collection actually grows pretty quickly for you. Now, some of the things that I would recommend as a teen, one, you have to find a way to get some type of funds, whether it's, asking your parents, maybe doing a little bit of chores around the house, whatever it may be to help you grow that collection. And if it's not as simple as that, you're going to have to potentially, we see kids at card shows all the time that are teenagers that are flipping cards left and right. Next thing you know, they have like $200,000 worth of cards just chilling in their pocket. Remember at the Nationals, some 13-year-old was walking around with a Patrick Mahomes shield from his rookie year that was graded out of flawless. So you're going to have to at some point figure out a way to get some additional disposable income. And I know it's definitely going to be a little more difficult for you with you being a kid, but there's opportunities there and you got to really find a way to do that. And if that means selling some of the autos that you have and then taking that money and buying other cards you can potentially flip, I would definitely do that, or go to trade nights in your local area if they have them and try to make some deals there.
So then this is a nice segue into the question of, okay, so with the hobby exploding and prices of product just going through the roof, the difficulties of acquiring products, are we cultivating enough of the younger generation to want to continue? Because the hobby's got to grow, and you got to have new people coming in all of the time. So do you think, like, with prices as crazy as they are we getting to the point where we're just going to lose that younger generation just because they're going to get priced out? Or do you think with the upcoming things with Fanatics and things like that, if that's going to change?
Yeah, something definitely needs to change in the hobby, especially when retail boxes and other lower end hobby boxes are hundreds and hundreds of dollars for no particular reason. I mean, there's boxes on shelves today that are $200 for paper hobby, for like Donruss, like the new Donruss basketball set that just came out. Those type of products should not have the premiums attached to them. I can't 100% validate and say that, hey, I agree with the price of hobby with like Prism and Flawless and things like that, even though we do buy them and open them up. But at the same time, too, comparing those cards to some of the Donruss cards and other paper products out there that should be a lot more affordable than they are, it's just night and day. Those cards are definitely higher end cards, higher chase cards, that do pack a punch when you are able to, pull them and afford them. As for, hopefully Fanatics definitely does something to, push out some type of mandate that allows pricing of particular boxes to be the same across the board and for some aspects. But at the same time, too, you don't want them messing 100% with it, because then they're going to dictate the secondary market as well and so forth. There's got to be an even balance. And I think Fanatics, hopefully, that's part of the reason why they did what they did. They want to figure that out. They publicly have said that they want to figure that piece out, and hopefully they do, because right now the hobby's not going to survive, especially for the youth, if you can't afford packs to open or even trade cards or anything like that.
I think it's a pipe dream, Johnny. I think here's the reality. It's going to get more and more expensive for everything. Every collectible out there, doesn't matter what it is. You saw today for the first time in U.S., well, probably in the last 10, 15 years, since our last recession, so call it 2008, where the inverse happened of the 2-year and the 10-year yields. When that happens, that signifies 9 to 12 months out that from an economic perspective, though, you're going to have a recession in the United States. Yeah. And that's going to have a recessive effect across the entire world. So I think from that perspective, people then get scared and they take their money out of markets and equities and they pop them into collectibles. So I think collectibles continue to do this.
Gotcha. I just want to, real quick before we continue down here, Rich, thank you so much for the love and support. Glad you're watching with your wife. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And again, thank you so much for that support.
Woohoo! Thanks,
Rich. You're the best.
I definitely don't think you're wrong. You're seeing it across the board with everything else. You're seeing it from watches. You're seeing it from any type of collectible or any type of item out there that can, be collected in someone's eyes. I think every little industry out there is seeing the same type of increase, and it's definitely not going to change anytime soon. Fanatics is 4 or 5 years out. We don't know what the next 4 or 5 years are going to be at 100%. We do kind of like what you mentioned with how things are, and you can easily tell, where the values are going currently. But, again, if it's a pipe dream, it's a pipe dream, but let's hope Fanatics is something drastically different to shake things up.
Let me show you something real fast, though. So in the watch
portfolio,
in the watch game, right, it's very similar to sports cards. So this is the Hulk. The Hulk now is an $8,000 watch that was discontinued. That's now almost trading at, I'll put it back up there, almost trading at $36,000. That shouldn't happen. That watch isn't worth $36,000. That should tell everybody what kind of bubble that we have out here when it comes to not only sports collecting, everything else. But the problem is, it's just like real estate. It's not going to change anytime soon, though, because what else are you going to put your money into right now, right? And this is where the Fed really has an interesting concept, right? Because what do? That try to suffice the market right now, try to settle it down, right? You don't raise interest rates, or you raise interest rates, but then you calm some of the inflation. It's a double-edged sword at this point. No matter.
100% agree with you.
Ooh, Daniel. I like Daniel's. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that too. Daniel says, are you looking to invest or collect? Buy what you can afford. Don't worry about the dollars and cents. Love the hobby first.
Well, that's kind of what you always mention. It's like just collect the players that you like. Doesn't necessarily mean like, he could just be an obscure player or, just maybe not one of the big names out there, but you collect him and, you start there and build your collection and you slowly grow out to, starting to get the big boys.
Love it or hate it. I collect anybody that went to the University of Arizona. It's my favorite college. Went there, everything. Love Arizona to death. It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. It's a good thing because all the players are cheap. Lorry marketing, stuff like that. I personally have a crazy Lorry collection. I have Sean Elliott. I have Richard Jefferson. I have a ton of autos, Jason Terry autos, you name it. I have, and they've cost me maybe $5, $10, $20 a card at most. Nothing's been too crazy. There has been a few cards that I paid top dollar for and able to make some deals, but I love the hobby. I love those individuals and I personally love collecting them. And that's where it starts for me. If I'm lucky enough to pull a LaMelo, buy a LaMelo, whatever that may be, by all means, that's great. There's other cards out there I would love to have and so forth, but start with what you like first and fall in love with it 100%.
Yeah,
Somebody said their favorite player is LeBron, so anything from his PC isn't cheap.
Hey, that is true. And by the way, I do have a tribute dunk PSA 10 red disco.
Ooh.
Last sold for like $2,500. I mean, if you're interested, let me know.
Always selling, Juice.
Always
selling.
Apparently I'm not a salesman according to you at times.
You're not a good one.
Okay.
Not a good one.
Okay, buddy, we're taking risk, all right? The first time we ever pulled a card together. So Dude Luck and I split this flawless box, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's a case. We split it right down the middle, and we finally pulled something pretty epic. It was a Justin Herbert
So
RPA.
you guys are gonna cut it in
25.
half, though, right? So who gets the top half? Who gets the bottom half?
We're gonna cut it right down the middle. So
Oh,
we
so you each get a patch. Got it.
Right
Good
middle.
idea.
I want left side.
And for the first time ever, we have an amazing card that we should probably kind of hold and strategically sell. And Dude Luck's is like, you're not going to be able to sell it anyway. You should might as well just sell it now for a loss and move on with life. I'm like, all right, cool. Later.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way.
Or he could always buy your half out, right?
Yeah, if he wants to.
Well, listen. So I'm not a huge fan of Justin Herbert. I think he's a really talented guy. He's going to play in a really difficult division, second best division in football. So from that perspective, right? I don't know. I mean, he showed me a lot of great things last season, but would I bet on the fact though that that particular card is going to go up 2x, 3x next season? I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
Yeah.
Should we bet on it?
I mean, that division's tough. I think he got another addition today. Who did he pick up today? Oh, Bobby Wagner signed with them.
Yeah, nice aging linebacker from the Seahawks.
Buddy, they got their defense is improving all around though. They signed him for a 5-year deal.
Hey,
All right, Seth has a very good question. How did y'all become friends? Oh, hey, you just grabbed it while nice.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll start with Andrew and I first, how we became friends. We had the same personal trainer at the gym. So we became friends via there, found similar interests, started ripping cards, and it grew from there. I mean, we told that story plenty of times.
Yep, started with Pokemon.
Yeah. So I figured it's out there a lot.
Ooh, everyone's saying Rams signed Wagner.
Yeah. Oh, Rams signed Wagner, not Chargers. Got it. I knew it was Los Angeles. I just didn't know who. Dude Luck and I, unfortunately, have been friends since we were like 10 years old. Unfortunately is the correct word I want to use.
Hey, Drew, I'm drinking the tequila that you got me.
I thought you finished it. I thought you finished it all.
No, I got a little bit left.
Oh, how is it? Smooth?
Oh,
I didn't get him anything, chat.
That's amazing. Jordan actually had a really good question, though, because I was going to bring this up earlier. What do you guys think about soccer with the World Cup coming up?
Ooh.
Anybody collecting right now when the Doha Qatar World Cup comes later on, sports cards in the soccer game will explode.
Yep.
They will absolutely explode.
100%. I mean, that's really with like you saw it with Super Bowl football cards. All football cards spiked during the Super Bowl. Anytime there's a big event, a lot of press behind it, you're going to get the casual fan. You're going to get a lot of individuals. You're going to get people who are interested that haven't taken the plunge. Anytime there's massive media, you're gonna see the hobby take off, and the World Cup's definitely.
Now you opened the most recent soccer product, and you said it was hot garbage.
Oh yeah, the EPL pink prism box, the second year EPL. Don't buy that box. It is pure shit. It was like $200. See why it was $200.
How about Italy winning the
Oh my
Euros and not qualifying for the World Cup?
Overrated. I mean,
that's unheard of.
yeah, it is.
That's absolutely unheard of.
Absolutely insane.
Juice loves the WWE, so you'll get we'll see what your thoughts are. What do you guys think about the new WWE Prism cards?
I think they look nice. It's definitely interesting. It's weird because like Panini got the license for like 2 years, it feels like, and it's going to go back over to Topps at some point again. And this release of WWE Prism is going to be short run. It's going to be short lived. It might do one more next year. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely might have to check it out, especially if we can find some of those vet autos. Now, the old school wrestlers like Stone Cold, I can't believe I'm calling him old school, but he is. The Rock, Batista, Cena, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Those are going to be the guys you guys are going to want to collect when it comes to that Prism box, if they're on the checklist. I think they are.
Now, what do you think about the new Topps? I think they're doing like the prospects. Topps Chrome has those prospect basketball boxes.
I think when Topps Chrome gets basketball back, the professional basketball back 100%, I think it's going to be great. I'm not a big fan of the overtime product.
Yeah.
It's basically the overtime. It's basically high school kids.
Prospects.
It's going to be prospects. It's kind of like the Bowman prospects piece. The difference with Bowman, they're actually a part of a farm club at that point. This is just high school kids
who may or may not make it.
Yeah, I think high school, when you're looking at talent, especially nowadays, it's not like it was 15 years ago when you just had AAU and that was about it. Besides basketball, now there's schools being built and curated just for basketball.
Yeah, I'm here in Atlanta.
Yeah,
they got the institute down there.
Yeah,
you have IMG Academy, you have Oak Hill. I mean, you got some incredible, institutes that are doing that. Tyler asked thoughts on Fortnite.
Oh no,
I only like Series 1 mega boxes only. No Series 3.
I sold that Crystal Shard Skull Ranger in a PSA 10. I sold it, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago. I sold it for $5,700. And I don't even think it's a desirable one at all. I don't even think it's a top 20 card.
Well, I mean, you got good money for that PSA 9 fish stick, so
I did.
It only makes me wonder what my 10 is gonna get.
Oh, buddy, buddy, that's at least a $10,000 card, at least.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you know how crazy Formula One has been?
Buddy, Formula One
I've been looking at the 2020 Topps Chrome. That box is almost like $3-4 grand right now. The Sapphire boxes are pushing $3-4 grand. I was like, oh my god! And we ripped that on live, like 10 boxes of them.
Buddy, we ripped those at the time. I think you had like 8 boxes, and we said it was like 20 grand. Now those 8 boxes are.
Yeah, I paid them like $1,000 for them, and now they're going for like $3 grand a piece. I was like,
Drew, can we talk about this for a second?
Oh, the Formula One race.
Yeah, Las Vegas.
Here, hold on, I got you. Hold on, dude. Look.
All right, hold on. I'm going to zoom it in though to a special corner because turn 11 and turn 12 is going to be right next to Cosmo.
Oh my gosh!
So if we get one
a
of those wraparound penthouses, we will be able to see all the way north of the Las Vegas Strip, and we'll be able to see how it corners all the way down through Tropicana Boulevard.
Oh, I'm in.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be.
Let's reserve it now. Do they have they released the date for in 2023?
I think New Luck already took care of it, didn't he?
I mean, we can get whatever we need, but I don't think they've. I'm sure they've released it yet, though. I don't know the date.
Because I looked at the Miami one and it's already like pretty much sold out.
Well, the good news is we don't need tickets for it, right? We'll be in the balcony.
Just save that money for the penthouse.
There you go.
Ooh, sheesh.
And the slot machines will go in it again, 1,000 a piece.
Bing, bing, bing.
Ooh, UFC Patty, dude, his cards are skyrocketing.
Yeah, Petty Pin Belt. Yeah.
Yeah, his cards are insane right now. Summer, it depends on what cards you want to send into PSA. That's a open-ended question together, I guess. But yeah, that's odd.
Yeah, jump on soccer, jump on UFC, F1 if you
any
can.
Sport.
Those are good sports that are now gaining a lot of traction.
So let's talk about the NBA a little bit more. Get back to that. We kind of got off on a little tangent here. Nothing wrong with that either. But a couple things.
Before we go on, Rosario just put it in there, and I just checked. It's Thanksgiving weekend on that Saturday, so right after Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, perfect.
Oh my goodness.
And we're already going to be out there anyways because we'll be in Phoenix.
Yeah, boom. Drive up, boom,
That's
boom,
straight through there.
boom, shakalaka.
Sheesh.
All right. Oh man, there's a lot of good questions. I'll answer this real quick. Is Metazoo a buy? Potentially. We'll go into more of that in a later episode.
We have something interesting coming up, so you definitely want to stay tuned.
Very interesting. All right, let's get back to the NBA a little bit. I got a couple of questions, and let's see what you guys think. Phoenix Suns, are they winning it all? Good luck. Yes or no? Are they coming out of the West again? Are they getting to the finals, and are they winning?
Here's
they look hot.
Here's the thing. They look good. Barring any injuries, right? It's going to be very difficult for anybody to beat them in a 7-game series. That includes, I mean, even out of the East, though. We have Bismack now, right? Bismack's a little bit better. The addition of JaVale McGee has been amazing, right?
Been phenomenal.
I'll go out there just as a fan, right? I'm going to say yes. It would be a shame for us to be matched up with the Lakers, though, in the first round.
Yes.
And if AD comes back, that'll be a series. That'll be a series. I think the Nuggets, I wouldn't sleep on the Nuggets. I wouldn't sleep on the Mavs. They got the best defense out of the West. I think our team's solid for what it is, right? Aaron Holiday's a nice pickup as well. McHale's playing out of his mind. Campaign's playing well. I'll say yes, though, but barring any crazy injuries.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely, with being a fan, being biased. They're definitely the team I'm picking, but if the Suns weren't in it, and I'll go that route, and I had to choose another team, it comes down to either who gets healthier, the Warriors or the Nuggets. Whoever is 100% or close to it at the time, I think they have a strong possibility coming out of it. Though you also have the Utah Jazz, which can match up pretty good with everybody. They just have to make sure they're making shots and scoring the ball, and they get a little dry at times when it comes from the offensive end.
Yeah, Tyler, the Nets are interesting, right? Because if you look, Vegas actually has them or had them as the odds-on favorite even now to win it all. Right now, New York lifted the ban, right? So he can play the home games. The Warriors look okay, right? If they can put it together, if they can get a little healthy. I wouldn't want to play the Warriors in a 7-game series. That's one team that scares me.
Yeah.
They possess a lot of good weapons. They play defense, and then of course, Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole. They got a solid quarter.
They have so much firepower, it's ridiculous. Speaking of the Nets, let's talk a little bit about the East. There's one team that's playing the best basketball right now in the East, and it's not who you think. It's 100% the Boston Celtics have the best record in the East since the All-Star break. They went from out of the playoffs, I believe, to now they were number one at one point. I think they're now maybe 3 or 4. But the top 4 spots are separated by maybe a game and a half. Last time I checked. That Boston Celtic team is looking good. And Jason Tatum is finally looking good this year.
Jaylen Brown is incredible.
He does. Do we think that there's a possibility for someone to dethrone The Bucks, do we think it is the Nets? Are they healthy enough? I mean, they traded away James Harden, who would have played, for Ben Simmons, who's probably not going to play at all this year. Do you think the 1-2 punch of KD can do it, or is it the Bucks to the win out to lose basically?
I don't know, man. No one. The Bucks are constructed to win championships and to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't look anything impressive during the regular season. But you think about it, though. They have one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA in Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton's a stud. Giannis Antetokounmpo, best player in the NBA. You can't guard them, right? They out-rebound. They get on the glass, right? The offensive rebounding-wise, that's what killed the Suns.
Did you see the game recently against the Suns where he got the defensive rebound and went like halfway down the court and like with 2 dribbles and then like from the 3-point line just stride his way in and just flushed it? It was disgusting.
We've never seen a player like him in the NBA, right? Because you see offensive talents like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is an offensive savant, maybe the best offensive player we've seen in a very long time. But I mean, look at Giannis, right? I mean, he plays defense as well too. He's one of the best defenders in the NBA and one of the best offensive players in the NBA. He's unguardable. He's unguardable.
He's absolutely a beast. Absolutely a beast. Someone says they're taking Joker. I mean, Joker is 100% up there in conversation. It's just, man.
Listen, Joker has led the league, and I've argued this, though, and I wish Arash was on here as well, too, so we could argue about this. My personal opinion, right, I think if I were to start an NBA franchise and you can give me one player, I'd be choosing Nikola Jokic. He's the most efficient player in the NBA by far. He's averaging almost 14 rebounds per game, 26 points per game, 8 assists per game. He's a perfect player. He's an absolute perfect player. He can't defensively, right? He's not Giannis when it comes to defense, though. But passing wise, everything else. You see that behind the back throw he had the other night that I sent you guys?
Yeah, unfortunately. But hey, there's no line. The dude is legit. Bang out here trying to sell NFTs for $1 million. Chris Rock.
NFT.
Oh man. Let's catch up on chat a little bit. Thoughts on investing in ticket stubs? Ooh.
The only ticket stub I would buy is the Patriots Atlanta Super Bowl comeback, the greatest comeback ticket ever.
I really think it's going to be more about the games in the moment for ticket stubs, but at the same time too, I personally just don't care about ticket stubs. So I'm going to be a little biased in the negative way. It could be good for somebody, but I think if you were to invest, it would have to be like monster moments, like Kobe's 81 game, a Tom Brady Super Bowl. Now, I personally have our Super Bowl tickets when the Eagles beat the Patriots when I was there, and I actually have it. So I'm keeping that forever, but
should probably get that graded.
Maybe that might be a good idea.
Rich has a good question. Do you think there should be redemption cards going forward?
Ooh. I
would say no.
Redemption cards are just so tough because we're seeing it now with the whole LaMelo Ball situation. LaMelo Ball's only signing certain redemptions and getting those cards out there for individuals. But
my thought is you're obligated. You made a commitment with the company and agreed upon, whether it's financial reasons that you're protesting, that you feel like you're not getting paid enough. These people are getting paid pennies on the dollar for their signatures, where they sign sheets of stickers and whatever. But if you made a contractual obligation, you should fulfill your obligation. Yes, maybe there's delays because of the pandemic and everything, but you should do your best to make sure that all of that gets honored.
The only reason why box prices are the way they are is for people's autograph, like a LaMelo Ball and so forth. And when you're getting a redemption, it comes to find out that he's probably not going to sign those redemptions, and you're paying premium dollars for a product just because of him. That's a problem. 100%. And if Aldo's not there, I mean,
but here's the reality though. He is not to blame here.
Oh, right? I agree. I agree. It's not his fault. I'm just saying, like, if you're going after it and that product's not there, I personally am not pointing the finger at LaMelo. I think it's more on Panini and so forth. It's their obligation. It's their issue that they need to solve.
Well, but that's what it comes into play, though, right? So, Jen, when we opened up a lot of the items, though, let's say you and I split a case of flawless basketball, right? Who are we looking for?
For what, this year?
Basketball. What player are we looking
LaMelo
for?
Ball.
LaMelo.
We're looking for LaMelo. I'm not looking for anybody else. Anybody in the chat can say whatever they want, though. We are all looking for him, though. So I think it's a great business move on this young man's part, though, to say every single person is buying all the year's Panini product based off himself, right? So this is where Panini then needs to step the fuck up and be an actual company and pay this kid a disproportionate amount of money in order for him to sign these. Because then we are all spending crazy dollars to get this product that he's not going to fucking sign, excuse my language. And at the end of the day, that's all we're buying the product for, right? That's the conundrum. That's the greed of Panini is the reason, though, that they have adverse actions going against them right now.
100%. Another reason why they lost the rights.
And that's why you felt bad even trying to sell your LaMelo redemptions, knowing full well that someone's willing to pay $2,000-$3,000 for this redemption. No, but you know that the likelihood of him, signing this card and getting it to that guy is going to be almost like not even existent. And you're just like, wow, at least you had a conscience, and you're just like, I can't in good conscience sell these redemptions to people knowing that if these kids don't get this thing signed, they're losing $3-4 grand.
You guys remember, though, when we opened up the first iteration of the first off the line select, right? And I got the gold redemption LaMelo.
It was,
we went nuts.
Yeah.
We went nuts, right? And everything was crazy. I sent that in for redemption. I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got updates from Panini just a couple days ago. Like, hey, your 120-day wait is over. What do you guys want to do? And I'm like, wait. Even requesting points, I'm still waiting for those cards that I've requested points for. I'm just like, I don't care about this guy. All right, give me points. I was thinking like, okay, like in a week I'll get some points. Nope.
Well over a year. I'm still waiting for shit.
It's ridiculous.
Real quick.
So it's interesting though. So Seth agrees, right? Panini is the greediest company by far. But what if you choose? I want an equivalent card. What if I chose that I wanted that select one, that gold auto LaMelo from Select? I want an equivalent card. What the hell are they going to send me?
Either one card or multiple cards that would, but they had to sit there and they had to value it. Like they'll determine a value. Is it a value from an MSRP standpoint or secondary market standpoint? Yeah. It's whatever they deem it's going to be worth.
Which is
questionable. So you may get like a white sparkle box or 2 sparkle boxes, in the mail, and they'll be like, that's your equivalent to a gold LaMelo auto.
All right, real quick. I just want to throw this question out there because I did see it earlier and we were on the NBA topic. We didn't answer it, but just give me your first impressions. I'm going to start with Dude Luck when you hear this team. Thoughts on Memphis going into the playoffs. What do you think they're going to do? Real quick.
Oof. So second in the West right now, talented, deep, Triple J, obviously our buddy Ja, if he, barring any injuries, right? He's a stud. Mr. Bain is good. They've got a great team. However, I think they're the most susceptible to potentially losing in the first round. As good as they are and as good as they've played, they are inexperienced and injury prone. I don't know. Ja's gonna have to put up 50 a game for them to be really relevant, though, too. But they've got a really young and talented team. I could see in the next 2-3 years being really a finals contender. I don't think this year, though.
Yeah, they remind me of one of those Oklahoma City teams back in the day with all those young players. Granted, they're not Russ, KD, and James Harden, but you got Ja, you got some talent there. I think they're going to grow in the next couple of years. I think they're a second-round team max.
Yeah, Memphis makes it to the playoffs, but like you said, lack of experience, injury prone. I don't really see a potential of them making a deep run. Maybe not right away. So get some experience, and then maybe in the next year or 2 or 3, we'll see some little deeper runs.
Let's see here.
King Spencer here is
he's
pushing Josh Allen pretty hard.
yeah.
So you guys heard it here first. He's recommended Josh Allen, and
I was grabbing Josh Allen last year, my man.
yep.
Got plenty of them. Yeah.
So
All companies are greedy, dude. I mean, David, yes and no. I mean, at the end of the day, they're all businesses. They have to make money. I think it comes down to what are you doing that affects the entire community. When it comes
the
to Panini,
redistributors are super evil.
when it comes to Panini and Topps, they have huge influences, maybe even monopolies in the current hobby as it sits today, and they can legitimately change the hobby overnight over the next 3 years that they have these licenses. So I definitely think Panini's up there with one of the companies that, you know, are not looking too hot.
It's funny though. So a lot of people are saying there's all companies are greedy. The interesting part is, right, Apple. Someone said Apple. I'm not buying an Apple product right now thinking I'm going to get something in return inside of that product, i.e., you know, it's going to be a golden
iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah. So the concept of Panini is it's greed and deception, right?
Correct.
If you give me, right, the ability to do a lot of those different items, and you're telling me though you put that guy in the box and that's the card I'm chasing, and you give me a bullshit redemption, knowing full well that LaMelo and his people are not going to sign it, and he shouldn't sign it though, right? Because it's not financially responsible for him to sign it though. That's on Panini. That's deception. That's far worse than greed. Greed is good, right? Deception is not.
Facts, 100%.
Look at that. Dude Luck dropping truth bombs.
Oh, I'm going to put this quote up right here, ladies and gentlemen. Dude Luck looks like a smart version of Rob Kardashian. Screenshot that. Tag everybody on Instagram. This is going to be printed tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Here we go.
Beautiful. Shout out to Robbie K.
Robbie K. He's actually in the hobby, by the way. He loves
Sports cards
collecting.
hobby. Yes, he does.
All right, so let's go ahead and start winding down here. I got a couple more topics I want to bring up to either really close out the night here. So earlier, Andrew, you and I have openly talked about grading companies and so forth, and we talked about a little bit of the players to invest in, and we talked about up-and-coming players and so forth. But why are grading companies so important? Something like a PSA or a Beckett in your eyes, Andrew?
Just for me, it's the fact that you know that what they're grading is authentic. There's that authenticity aspect. They've been in the history of the game for the longest time, so you know reliability is there. They have a proven track record, so a lot of those things make it so that big companies like PSA and Beckett are companies that you can trust, and you know when you get your cards graded that they hold some value. There's the value aspect behind it.
The comment that just came in.
Post it.
Juice sucks on Jin's fingertips daily.
Hourly.
Put this guy in timeout. There we go. You get the show, but you got to be in timeout though. No, and I think, you know, Dude Luck, I would love to get your take on this because you're a man that has spent a lot of money on grading for the quick service, especially with PSA. And I mean, there's no reason behind it, right? You're not spending that type of money to get your cards graded over at HGA or anything like that. No disrespect to them, but there's a reason why you choose PSA, correct?
Yeah, I mean, because I like the value of my cards. I mean, that's the only reason for it, right? Beckett would of course be if I think I have a holy grail card that's, you know, been cut by God himself or herself. You know, all the corners are perfect, everything else though. But PSA for me is better, right? I trust them. It's all the value there. It's a consistent grading process for the most part. The other grading services, you're just taking a risk. What you're basically saying to the community is that PSA is too expensive. So in turn, you didn't think that card was worth your time and worth your money to grade it at PSA or Beckett. That's really what you're saying. I saw somebody, I think it was one of the Pokemon collectors. I think it's somebody that you guys know in the community. He graded like a whole original base set in CGC. why? I mean, if you devalue those cards immediately, though, right? So I don't think it's a smart move, right? Pay the additional dollars to PSA. As greedy as they are, you will absolutely it'll be worth its weight in gold in the future.
Yeah. I think this PSA, the big points with PSA, they've been around for a very long time. CGC has been around in the sense of grading comic books, not too much about grading cards. They've been more as of late. They're growing in popularity. I think the only reason why a lot of these companies are growing in popularity is just because a lot of people don't want to pay those fees. But to your point, the fees and the value of the card, if you send the card into PSA and you send it into CGC and then HDA, those are going to be notable differences in values when it comes to those particular cards. Hands down.
Thoughts on the new what is it? The SGC has new labels, right? I think.
They have the updated labels.
Yeah, that's not that green one.
Yeah, they have these. I don't. They have the black ones, something like that.
Yeah, they have these new labels.
Yeah,
or the CSG or whatever.
See, I know CGC looks all right, but to your point again.
Yeah.
For the money, I want an explanation of why I got the grade I got from PSA. But PSA's been doing that for years. I mean,
yeah, I admit I do like to. I would like to see PSA with some grades.
But they've been doing it for years.
What?
They've been offering grades up for years the way they are now. And they're still the number one most popular place to get graded. They're still the number one when it comes to the value and overall cards. They're still the number one when the overall cards come to grading. PSA.
Oh, Justin has a very good question. What do y'all use to track Pokemon prices?
Oh, what do we use, Andrew?
We use Collector.
Collector, indeed. Collector is a great app. If you guys haven't checked it out, go ahead and look up the Apple and Android Play stores for Collector. And that's Collector, COLLECTR.
Collector.
All right, let's start heading out. This is probably going to be the last topic of the night here, but I want to get everybody here. You guys got to answer it. Current vets, 5 years or later, minimum. Who's underrated and who should you be collecting? Maybe they're both the same. Give me 5 veteran players that you personally think could be worth collecting and potentially seeing a value.
But what do you consider like a veteran player? Like
5 years or more in the
5
NBA.
years or more.
So
in the
like
NBA?
Devin Booker would be a vet, right?
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. So give me 5 players. 5 players. I'll go first. I'll go first with my 5 players. I think Devin Booker, number 1. Everybody should be getting their Devin Booker cards. Number 2, I think Giannis, 100%. Giannis is a guy, any set that you see him in, any numbered parallel, especially if he's signing. He rarely signs anything anymore. You can find autos of Giannis, 100%.
Wait, are we saying underrated? Giannis has cards that are selling for $500,000.
But I'm talking about collecting too. They could be the same. I'm giving you my 5 collector. Okay.
All right.
I'll give you my 5 underrated guys too.
Yeah.
All right, bud?
Yeah.
But I'm doing my 5 collectors first, okay? Giannis, Book. You guys ready for this one? I don't know if you're gonna agree with me or not. I think Kyrie cards, no one's collecting Kyrie at all. And I think Kyrie cards, he's just gonna be a personality after he retires in the NBA, and I think his cards are gonna have some type of value to them. Especially when it gets to that point of retiring, which is not going to be for a very long time. I think Kyrie is one of those players you should be collecting. 2 more just for collecting standpoint. I do think Damian Lillard, he's getting up there in age though, but I think Damian Lillard cards, when it's all said and done, when he gets traded to a contender or signed to a contender, I think he's going to be one of those. And the last one I'll give you, this is going to be an interesting one here.
Manute Bol.
Manute Bol. No, definitely not Manute Bol. I think a lot of people, I don't know if he's not really being collected right now. I know his card values have dropped, because the Hawks aren't playing good, but I think Trae Young's someone that people need to start picking up again. But those are just people I would collect. Those are not my 5 underrated players, but those are just 5 people I would definitely collect for sure.
Yeah, my list is similar. I think number 1 is Jokic. I think he's severely underrated. Player efficiency rating, he's been number 1 in the league for the past 3 years. Number 1 again. He's putting up video game stats, so I'd put him number 1. Number 2, Book. I'd put number 3, Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, so he came in the league in 2017. I think his stuff is really, really cheap. The kid is an absolute monster. 27 points per game. Just shooting lights out this year. I think 8 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, player efficiency rating. He's up there as well, though, too. So I'd put him at number 3. From that, it kind of drops off a little bit, right? Because Joel Embiid's another one as well, where he's an absolute stud. And then, you could pick any of the big names. I'm not going to put Giannis and LeBron in there. Their cards are selling for 6 figures already for their desirable cards. So I don't, they're not, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to put either of them in there. But I think you have Donovan Mitchell, right? You have Steph Curry's stuff is still underrated. I think you have, De'Aaron Fox, Karl Anthony Towns. Someone put Darius Garland in there. You guys realize I will be the first one to say, I think we pulled every Darius Garland card you can think of. And I shit on this poor kid because I was so pissed I wasn't pulling Zion. The kid, he's, I think, 20th in the league in scoring right now.
100%.
Yao Ming.
Yes. Yao Ming is amazing. Jen, I don't know if you have your top collection.
I think we all covered it. I would say Karl Anthony Towns is definitely a card that most people don't really talk about, but he is a good player. There's he doesn't get to shine a lot, but when he does, he does. So I think he's definitely very underrated.
So I'm going to give you my 5 super underrated people. Now, we're probably going to think some of these individuals are good, but I'm talking about from a collectability standpoint. These are drastically underrated players that are not getting collected hardly enough. Number 5 for me is going to be Jamal Murray. I think when he comes back healthy
from injury,
yeah, he's still got a very young career. I think healthy. And that Nuggets team is definitely going to make some noise in the playoffs, especially in the future. So he's up there for me. Next piece, I think De'Aaron Fox, if he ever gets traded and he leaves that situation that he's in, I definitely think there's some value there. He's not being collected hardly enough, probably by nobody. Definitely has an opportunity there. I see somebody put Shea, SGA.
Yeah, I do like SGA.
I do too, but I don't know, man. Someone's got to be good on a bad team. And I don't know.
Someone has to score on a bad team. Listen, Shea is an incredible talent. Absolutely incredible talent, though. As long as he's an OKC, he will never become that hype player.
Yeah.
It's a small market team, great fan base, but he will absolutely not become the type of collectible player that requires that type of hype. Though I think he's averaging 25 points per game right now this season. No one's talking about him.
Yeah. Thoughts on Dwight Howard? I see his name in the chat quite a bit.
I can't get behind Dwight Howard.
Ooh, super chat.
Super chat from Pokey Data, $20. Thank you so much for the super chat.
It says love the analysis.
Hey, we try. My number three. You talked about his sidekick, but I'm going to speak on Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown's super underrated when it comes from a collectible side. Definitely think there's missed opportunities there. So I'm saying Malik Monk Trust. I'm going to pass on Malik. Number 4 is Karl Anthony Towns. I think we talked about it a few times in the chat already tonight. Karl Anthony Towns is just a walking beast. Unfortunately, he's wasting his prime years in Minnesota. I don't know why, but they on paper, they look like they got a great team. Russell's somewhat decent. Anthony Edwards is phenomenal talent. Cat is phenomenal.
They play in the West. That's their only problem.
And it's shitty too because it's Minnesota. Like they're so close. Like maybe move them over to the East.
Yeah, I mean, or just playing the Canadian League. But the reality is, right? I mean, that's a team that should absolutely do well. If they were in the East, they'd probably be a 6-7 seed, right? So I think Cat's great. The other, I think someone brought up Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is wasting the prime of his career in Washington.
Agreed.
He needs, but I don't disagree with Brad what he's doing. He said, I want to get paid, and I don't care where I'm playing.
Yep.
I don't knock it.
100%. My last, and this stinks because he's technically not underrated, but he's super underrated because only one of his cards, everything else that you could potentially get at this individual is just not there. I personally don't like him, but when you're looking at the collecting side outside of his rookie year, James Harden has 0 desirable cards. You're not seeing his cards sell for anywhere close what any, KD's cards are at. I'm not trying to compare them in the sense of talent, but I'm just trying to compare them in the sense of their scorers. I mean, he's a phenomenal talent in the NBA, MVP, led the team to multiple teams to playoff runs. It's crazy that his cards are not coveted enough. It's absolutely insane. I personally don't like him because he went to ASU, but at the same time too, there's no denying that he is super underrated, undervalued when it comes to the collecting side. I mean, I can't put Dame Lillard on there because he's getting up there in age, and for what he's done in Portland, he could have done a lot more. It's like the whole Bradley Beal situation. He had a chance to leave Portland already, and he decided to stay. He's staying there still. If he wanted to leave, he would have left by now.
Sometimes that sense of loyalty can keep a player in a place, for too long, and then he loses his chance. I mean, I think that kind of mentality worked great, in the Jordan era, but nowadays I think you just have to, at the end of the day, it sucks, but, put in your time. If you don't think it's going to happen and you want to win championships, then you have to market yourself and find better places to go. I mean, loyalty is great, but if it doesn't get you any championships, then
yeah,
I mean, listen, look at Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett talked about how he was loyal to the Minnesota Timberwolves, though, for more than a decade, and how it didn't serve him well. Right? He got paid. He's one of the highest paid players in NBA history. But he immediately went to the Celtics. He's criticized LeBron, right, for going to super teams, even while he was on the first super team in NBA history. Or at least
the more modern
era. With him and Ray Jean and Paul Pierce. So, loyalty is whatever, right? I mean, any NBA team would trade your ass as soon as it benefited them. So that's why I don't knock players like Bradley Beal, right? He knows he plays in a shit team. That's cool, right? Stay on there. Your second best player is Davis Bertans on your team, and he's going to put up 30 a game. All right, that's fine. Pay the kid $40 million a year, and he's good. Yeah,
and King Spencer, I think he just wrote something about Kyrie. If you didn't catch it earlier, he's one of my top 5 players that I would be investing in right now. He's definitely not underrated when it comes to collecting. I just think people need to collect him more.
Kyrie might be one of the most talented players that we've ever seen in the NBA.
By far.
He's a head case. He's an absolute head case. Maybe best handles that we've ever seen in the game. I think the playoffs, I think he's gonna go off. He's fresh. He's not injured. I think it'd be really good.
I like this by John Paul. Stars will be financially set no matter what team they play for. 100%. Yep. Why you gotta worry about finding some rings, my man?
Unless you're Antoine Walker and you make $150 million, then you go broke.
Whew. Kyle Lowry is underrated. I mean, he's won a championship. I think he's.
I don't think he's underrated. I think he's perfect. He's perfectly
properly
rated.
Expo wants to know anybody from the Raptors. No.
Game over.
Scotty Barnes. I mean,
no. I disagree. I think Scotty Barnes, I think, is going to win Rookie of the Year. He should if he doesn't. No, he should. Or Evan Mobley. But Fred VanVleet is highly underrated. And the minute, though, that Kyle left, he took off like crazy.
Yeah. Seth, we mentioned Jamar earlier. Definitely,
Jamal Murray.
I definitely think Jamar
Chase.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Jamal Murray is definitely desirable from the collecting standpoint. Well, ladies and gents, we went ahead and went through our topics today. Wonderful hour and 15 minutes, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. We're definitely going to try to do this on a regular basis. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys follow us on social media. We'll definitely be posting more concurrent schedule here very soon. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Any last words, Jen?
Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for all of the support, guys. Woo!
Good luck. Anything?
Go Suns.
Boom.
Suns in 6.
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4. We're bringing it back. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Deuces.